What is up, guys? Please just excuse the massive caveman beard that I have now. I haven't really had a chance to go to the hair cuttery and get my hair cut and my beard trimmed all nice and stuff. It's been winter and winter sucks. It's cold, so I just kept the beard for a little bit, but it's about time for it to go. But this is our 1000th video, guys, and I could not do something special for you guys. The problem is that I put a poll up on the channel to ask you guys if you like what you wanted me to do for our 1000th episode, and it came to a 50-50 split. So I went for the one that would be harder for me to film because I feel like you guys would enjoy it. So yeah, I am going to be painting in this video. I'm going to be painting a statue that I've had for quite a long time, and it is the Mad Moxxi statue. She's painted. She's primed right now. I did dry brush her a good bit. If you are trying to paint any miniatures or statues and stuff like that, you want to prime first. I like to do a dry brush over that to kind of just pick up some of the details. And then from there, you can just start painting. So I'm going to do this just like I do other painting videos for you guys. Basically, what I've been doing with the painting videos is I go step by step on like each step. I don't show the whole painting process because it will take way too long and too much space on the phone to try to make that video. So I'll go step by step and I'll show you guys each step when it's done and what the next step will be, and then keep going from there. And at the end, you guys will see the finished product. Hopefully this doesn't take me an ungodly amount of time. I'm going to try to dedicate this weekend to working on this. So right now at this time, it's Friday night, 7 p.m. after work. Let's try to get her done before Sunday night. So, yeah, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on her skin. I'm going to go from the inside out. So I don't want any spots that I have to fight to get to after I painted an area. So the skin is probably the best place to start, as I do miniatures for Bunkers and Badasses as well. So what I'm going to use to base, like start her skin off with, is a brown rose, and the brown rose is from AK. I love using, all my paints are AK, except for speed paints that I use to basically glaze over top of these paints. You'll see in the video how the steps go by. But, alright, let's get started. Okay, no lie, the skin took me forever to do. Now, I've painted some statues, but this was after this statue was given to me. And I've learned that, like with statues, the best thing to do is paint pre-assemble and then assemble it. This was hard. Her skin goes all sorts of different places, if you know what I mean. And there's a lot of crevices and stuff, but we made do. Another thing is, it took me a while because, and I could go with another coat, but I had to do a couple coats with her skin because you could see through to the next layer, which was the primer. Now the primer is like a bluish gray, so it's okay for that to bleed through because the blue kind of, it basically like gives it a little realism to it. But you might think, why did you paint Moxxi's face normal? She wears makeup. It's good to actually paint all of the skin and then add the makeup like it was added onto skin, because if there's any bleed through anywhere or anything, it'll look like makeup sitting on skin. So if that is what you're thinking, that's why I did that. I'm going to move on. It's very hard to figure out what my next step would be. I'm going to do a red, and I'm going to use a dirty red. It's a kind of like mid-dark, but not too dark red. And I'm going to do that with her red pieces, so it'll be her most of her dress completely, except for this breasticle right there. That's a darker one. A darker red, and then her hat's like a dirty red. Of course, the loot chest at the bottom will be red. I'm going to do that with a dirty red. And then later on I'll do brighter highlights. But let's focus on the reds, because that's technically the next layer of clothing that she actually has. Okay guys, so we are already on day 2. We are now on Saturday. Last night all I could do was basically get the base skin tone done. And I worked on the red on the chest. And I am going to, well, I did do more red. So I did the red on the chest, I did it on the dress, the hat, as you can see. I also today, when I had some time earlier to just speed up the process, because I'm trying to hit this goal, I did use some speed. I used one speed paint to get the dark brown done, because she has that underneath her actual jacket, or her like jacket dress thing. And I put a dark rust. Instead of doing a leather brown like I usually do, I did a dark rust AK. And I put that in the spots that would be leather. In the photo that I was looking at, the straps on her arms were darker, so I used the speed paint for that. I'll show you guys where we're at. So, just wanted to give you guys a step-by-step. So right now, the box is done. Well, not done, but the red is done on the box. The dress is getting there. She's basically base coated for that. I do have to do the orange yellow trim for that. And this right here is darker. So what I used for that was actually a I think it was a burnt red. I used a burnt red for that. So of course, you might not have AK paints. Don't fret. Just go for what you do have, and you can pick out the different colors that you have. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go for the areas that were going to be like white. But since this is a base coat, I'm not going to do a white or even an off-white. I'm going to actually do a very light gray. And that is going to be, sorry, this is probably loud, a silver gray. It's not silver. It's not going to be shining like silver. It's just a very, very bright gray. And I'm going to put that on all the stripes on her legs, and the arm piece on this side. Her boot area is going to also have that too as well. Top of the chest I'm going to probably hit with that, because it's going to get dyed down with the wash that I put on it, or the glazes I put on it. So we're going to knock that part out, and then I'll move on to like the black, but I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use a very, very, very dark gray, because it's easier to highlight those with that instead of a black. Black's really hard to highlight without it making it just look gray. So we're going to do that. And it's really hard to like keep up with this model because of it being so big. And I did the smaller one. It's just insane. So we're going to just go with the silver gray right now, see where we're at, and then move on to the next step. Okay, so I went over with the silver gray and hit all the areas that are supposed to be white. And I did that. Now, what you'll see here, I put that dark speed paint that I used for this, I put that on the boots because I kind of analyzed how this would actually look if it was all black. And when I looked at like the Moxxi statue that I have on the shelf over here, and I looked at some other references, it is like a very, very dark brown. So I just stayed close to what her colors would be, even though you can use black and it would be fine. I just wanted to pick up some of the details. So before I put that speed paint on there, I took some of the silver gray and I just hit like some of the top areas of things so that it would be have some sort of highlights to them. So, all right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to actually work on her jewelry. It's like a bluish green kind of like color. I'm going to do that. I am dreading doing the black. And it's not because of the stockings or anything like that, or this piece, or it's not that. The reason why is because if you look at her leg and this arm, I'll go close to you guys with it. You see that little, that's fishnets. And I'm going to have to run along them fishnets without screwing up the skin. This is a base to the skin, so it's not too bad. But if I have to go back and patch up that skin area, it's going to be harder because they're a bunch of squares. So I'm going to do my best. That is what's going to really hold me up the most, is working on the fishnets. So let's get into the jewelry. There's some yellow in there. I might work on the yellow too. The color. I think I did pick out a color for that, and I thought that maybe the gray blue would be better, because the greenish blue that I do have is actually like a pastel blue. It's just too bright. I am going to dye it down with the glazes I put over it, but I don't want to take the... I don't want to go ahead and just do that color and then it ends up not being right in the end. So I think the best way for me to do is do the grayish blue, and then actually, you know what? Let's not do grayish blue, because I feel like that is just like the base coat. So let's not do a grayish blue. That pastel green is probably the better one. There's pastel blue here. This is where it gets tough, because I don't want to mix paints. I really don't feel like mixing paints today for this to figure out what color I need. They're almost the same damn color. Like dead ass. Like they're almost the same damn color. I'm going to do pastel green. I am going to do pastel green. I'm going to just try it out. See what it looks like. Hopefully the shade maybe over it. It doesn't... It looks like it's a little darker though. It looks a little darker. The sky blue would be maybe too blue. It has like a greenish hint in there. This is the problems with painting. Sometimes you gotta work what you gotta work with, and it's a very strange color. So I'll figure it out. Okay guys, so it is now Sunday at 3 p.m. Last night I did end up getting the greenish blue areas. It looks more blue done. I did get the whites done. I did add the yellows, which you can see with the feather on the back there. And I used another brown speed paint for her hair. I was like, let me just knock out the hair real quick. The black. The black is what held me up. Look at that fishnet. It had to be done on the leg and the one arm. Okay. I think I started the fishnets around midnight, didn't get done until about 4:30 in the morning. And it's because I had to be really delicate and try to, you know, follow those lines. They're not completely perfect, but they look really good. Now what we're doing, I did get some of the silver done too. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but you know, it does. It's picking up like her belt buckle and stuff. So we are now at the part of the statue. I still didn't do her makeup yet. That's going to be like a final highlight stage. We're now at the part of the video where we're going to have to put a wash or glazes. I do glazes on my stuff, which is basically watered down speed paints. I do like a Gravelord Gray. It's amazing when you do that. That's what I use as my wash. I stopped using Reichland Flesh Shade or the Earth one from Warhammer. They are really great colors. They just leave a glossy finish. So I just learned to use other things to make it look really good and matte. So I'm gonna make a little, I guess, a little pot. Try to get a good consistency between water and speed paint, and then I'm gonna lay it down on her. I'm gonna give her some shade. Hopefully it picks up some, you know, it shades the details really well. I do like the way this is turning out. It's becoming a pretty statue, and I really wish I did this years ago, because I had this statue for 3 years, and look at oh my god. So look at her now. Like this is amazing. I'm so happy that I did this for our 1000th episode. So let's go ahead, get some shades on her, and then we're going to move on to the highlights. And with highlights, I'm going to just say, you know what, we'll come back to that. I'm a shader. I'll show you guys how she looks just with the shade, and then I'll explain how I'm going to do my highlights. I'm going to explain everything with the highlights in that next part, and then we'll get the final reveal. So we're at the finish line, guys. Alright, so shading is just about done. She might not look too different than before, but she is. She has shade on her. Got down in the crevices, darkened up some areas and stuff like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to build that color back. So I'm going to go back with the red, the yellow, some of the browns, like every color. I'm going to come back with a lighter color, and I'm going to edge highlight things, areas that the sun would hit, like the like I'm going to take an off-white now, where I use the silver gray. I'm going to do the high areas. So anywhere where the sun would hit, so this top of this elbow, that would all be an off-white. And I'm just going to build up all the color so that the shade is in areas that the sun wouldn't hit, and the bright areas would be where the sun would hit or light would hit. And after that, that's when I'm going to focus on the skin and her makeup. So after this, you're going to see the grand reveal. But with the skin, I started with a brown rose, and then I'm going to go back with a beige red on the areas that the light would hit. So anything under our armpit, stuff like that, that wouldn't be painted with the beige red. I'm going to hit most of the area with beige red, except for those crevices. And then after that, I'm going to mix a little bit of beige red with the with pale sand. Mix that a little bit, and then I'll go smaller areas, and then pale sand. When I get it really, really light with the beige red, I'll just do like the bridge of the nose, the stuff, the main areas that the light is hitting. I did forget to tell you guys, this blue, how I got this blue. I did say that I was going to use the pastel green. I mixed that with I think it was archaic turquoise. I I used an archaic turquoise. I mixed it with the pale green, 50-50. This still came through a lot more, but it's completely fine because it wasn't as pale as the pale green or even the pastel green or the pastel blue. So we made do with what we had there. I also like the archaic blue a lot. I think it works really well with this model. So I'm gonna let the rest of this kind of dry a little bit because I am seeing some like the leather speed paint that I used to go over the leather. I'm seeing some of that has a little bit of wet areas. We will let that dry a little bit, and then once that's done, I'm going to come back through and start my highlight. And we're just about finished, guys. So the highlights are really fun to do. It's just time consuming because you can really get lost in this final step of painting models and even statues, miniatures for tabletop games, bunkers and badasses, Warhammer, whatever you decide to play. This step is really fun because you can see your model coming to life, and it's the final steps, guys. It's literally the final steps. She's just about done, and I'm happy that I've been pushed to actually do this because this is going to be an amazing statue that I can add to the collection. She's not just a gray 3D printed statue that's just has potential. This is what she's become. So I'm happy I did this for you guys. So let me go ahead and let this dry, and you'll guys see the grand reveal. So we made our goal by finishing the Moxxi statue at 9 p.m. on Sunday night. So I'm happy that I was able to complete her and make her look. She looks amazing. I'm so happy that I finally did this because this is an awesome piece to have in the Borderlands room. But I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know that not all of my viewers paint miniatures or models or stuff like that, but it is a Borderlands statue and it's a beloved character. A lot of people love Moxxi. So I wanted this video to be like, you know, kind of like something special because this is a piece that has sat in this room completely gray, just the resin model itself. And it was so much potential there, and I just never got it done, and I finally did. And if you are in the miniature painting hobby or model hobby, like painting model hobby, you might know that we have piles of shame. It's okay to, stop, go back, see what you have in your log and knock it out because there's a lot of potential there. A lot of potential. I do have another statue though. Not as big. This was also printed for me. This was a Lilith statue. Really cool statue. Of course, a lot smaller. The other one's like that. Maybe like that compared to her. But very, very unique. I'm going to be doing this on the channel as well. I'm just going to give it a little bit of time before I do the next one. This one shouldn't take me as long because there's not much surface to paint. So it's not nearly as much as that Moxxi was. But I really appreciate you guys checking today's video out. If you did like the video, remember to leave this video a huge like. If you're new, I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel. We're trying to reach our goal, get 1,000 subs. That's our main goal, just to hit that 1K. We're at 1,000 videos, guys. 1,000 videos. This is insane. So, as always, thank you guys for checking out today's video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.